Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll. Or at least, he was. By 1968, Elvis's spirit had been thoroughly broken down by years of his manager Colonel Tom Parker's creative strangle. He was forced to act in dozens of increasingly cheap and formulaic movies, each one becoming more and more soulless. So when the Colonel signed him up for an NBC television special, Elvis was expectedly irritated, believing it to be another one of his cheap tricks. But to his intrigue, he was told by the show's producer, Bob Finkel, that he didn't have to stick to the Colonel's rigid show plan. Suddenly, this special became an opportunity rather than another blow to his reputation. Though he was initially expected to sing Christmas songs, Elvis would take a bold new direction, one that he hoped would allow him to reclaim the crown once again. But there was something else that hung heavily in Elvis's mind. In April of 1968, civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in Memphis, the place where Elvis lived his youth. Dr. King was shot at the Lorraine Motel, only minutes away from Elvis's beloved Beale Street. Having this happen in his own backyard only made the tragedy more personal to him. He felt the gravity of Dr. King's death and wanted to do something, anything, about it. But the Colonel forbade him from making any political statements. Despite this pressure, Elvis did not let go of that sense of purpose, even if he had to stay silent about it. When preparations began for the special, Bob Finkel hired Steve Binder to direct it. When Elvis met him to discuss the direction of the show, he found another person who shared his sense of purpose. Binder encouraged Elvis to say something about the civil rights movement, and to show solidarity with the struggling people of America. Elvis knew that this was the time to speak out, and that this special was the vehicle for his message. But when the Colonel found out about his plans for the show, he put an immediate halt to them. The Colonel wanted the special to be a wholesome family show, where Elvis would wear a sweater and sing Christmas songs, free of anything challenging or bold. Now, Elvis had a choice. Does he play it safe by putting on a sanitized Christmas show? Or does he risk everything and speak out for what he feels to be right? The rehearsals began in early June. Elvis impassionately demoed some holiday numbers, including his famous hit, Blue Christmas. But on the second day of rehearsals, the whole crew was interrupted by a television in the other room. Steve Binder said to the whole room, "I think Bobby Kennedy's been shot." Everyone rushed over to the television and it was true. No one said anything. No one could. There was a heavy silence in the room. When some of the crew mustered up the will to speak, they could only talk about Bobby Kennedy and John. Elvis and Binder and everyone else talked long into the night about the assassinations and the state of America. As the rest of the country was, Elvis was at a crossroads of conscience. In the thick of such turmoil, in the aftermath of great tragedy, how could he step into the soundstage and passively sing Christmas carols? What kind of message would that broadcast? One of apathy? Complicity? No. The Christmas show is canceled. Instead, Elvis decided he would embrace the music of his heroes and stand alongside the traditions and expressions of his youth. He began rehearsing songs comprising all of the music that he had ever loved: blues, gospel, spirituals, and brought it to a scale that hadn't been seen in his career. Gone was the corporatized, sanitized Elvis. Stepping onto the stage was a black, leather-clad, unpredictable Elvis, the kind that hadn't been since his early days. Closely surrounded by an energized audience, he rocked the show with raw explosions of his greatest hits. Over the course of the special, Elvis would prove to the critics beyond a doubt that he hadn't lost the dangerous edge that made him the king of rock and roll. The Colonel was furious over the show's change in direction and embracing of Elvis's roots. He threatened that the network would take legal action against them if the show would not end with a Christmas finale. The Colonel pressured Elvis to end the show by singing "I'll Be Home for Christmas." But when the shoot for the finale began, Elvis appeared in a white suit, backed by his legendary name and lights towering above him. He then delivered one of the most passionate and illustrious performances in his life, singing an original song called "If I Can Dream." The lyrics told of yearning to live in a better land, where lights burned brighter, where birds flew higher. He told of dreams of peace and understanding, of unity and equality. Breaking out into a fiery bridge, he exclaimed the truth of the state of the country, saying, "We're lost in a cloud with too much rain. We're trapped in a world that's troubled with pain," but then illuminating the way out through hope, declaring as long as a man has the strength to dream, he can redeem his soul and fly. His words reflect the immortal speeches of Dr. King, Bobby Kennedy, and John Kennedy, and showed the world that Elvis believed in their words and in their dreams. And Elvis ended the show with his plea: "Please let my dream come true right now." The special became a smash hit, capturing 42% of America's television audience. It ended up one of the highest-rated television events of the decade. Not only did Elvis pay respect to the roots and traditions that created him, but he also took a stand for good in an era of chaos and disorder. And by the end of 1968, it was clear that Elvis was the greatest musical spectacle in America. Elvis was back and afraid of nothing. If you enjoy deep dives into the most explosive turning points in music history, check out my breakdown of Michael Jackson's Motown 25 performance and the move that crowned him the king of pop. You can watch it right here.